Emma froze, her daughter's innocent question echoing in the sudden silence of their apartment hallway. The man standing awkwardly at his door, their new neighbor, looked just as startled, grocery bags dangling from his strong hands, his kind eyes meeting hers in a moment that seemed to stretch forever. "Mama?" Lily tugged at her sleeve again. "Can we keep him?" If you're enjoying this story so far, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming content that will make your day. Now let's continue with this emotional journey that might just remind you of your own unexpected encounters with love. Emma Parker had built walls around her heart after her divorce 2 years ago. At 32, she'd convinced herself that being a single mother to 6-year-old Lily was enough, that their cozy 2-bedroom apartment in Maple Creek Apartments was all they needed. Her routine was sacred, morning rushes to get Lily to school before heading to her job as an elementary school librarian, evenings of homework, dinner, and bedtime stories. Weekends were for park visits and occasional movie nights with her sister. There was no room for complications. Then apartment 4B, which had been vacant for months, suddenly had a new occupant. Emma had glimpsed him a few times in the parking lot, tall, with dark hair that curled slightly at his neck, usually carrying his young son who looked about Lily's age. She'd made a mental note to introduce herself properly sometime, the way good neighbors should. But not today. Not while she was running late, hair still damp from her shower, wearing her oldest sweater because the laundry was piling up. But Lily had other plans. The little girl had dropped her stuffed rabbit in the hallway just as their new neighbor was struggling with his door, arms full of groceries. When he'd stopped to help pick up Mr. Floppy with his free hand, Lily had looked up at him with the unfiltered admiration only a child could express. "You have kind eyes like my teacher, Mr. Wilson," Lily had declared. Then turning to Emma with complete seriousness, "Mama, can we keep him?" Now Emma stood mortified, heat rising to her cheeks. "Lily. That's not, I'm so sorry," she stammered, finally finding her voice. "She doesn't mean." The man laughed, a warm sound that somehow eased the awkwardness. "I've been called worse." He shifted his groceries to extend his hand. "Jack Reynolds. Your new neighbor. And this little guy hiding behind me is Noah." A small boy with glasses too big for his face peeked around Jack's legs, offering a shy wave. "Emma Parker. And this is Lily, who apparently thinks people can be adopted on sight." She shook his hand, noticing the absence of a wedding ring, not that she was looking. "Daddy says we need more friends," Noah offered quietly, adjusting his glasses with one finger. "We don't know anyone here yet." Jack's expression softened with something Emma recognized instantly, the look of a parent trying to make the world better for their child. "We just moved from Cleveland. Noah starts at Maple Creek Elementary on Monday." "That's my school." Lily bounced on her toes. "I'm in Miss Sullivan's class." "Same class as Noah," Jack said, his smile revealing a dimple in his left cheek. Small world. The awkward moment had passed, but something else had taken its place, a gentle current of possibility that Emma hadn't felt in years. It terrified her. "We should get going," she said abruptly. "Nice meeting you both." As she hurried Lily down the hallway, her daughter's protests trailing behind them, Emma tried to ignore the feeling that something important had just happened. Something that threatened the careful balance of their lives. The following weeks brought unavoidable encounters. Noah and Lily became instant friends at school, which meant playdates were inevitable. Emma learned that Jack was an architectural engineer who had relocated for a project revitalizing Maple Creek's historic downtown district. He'd been raising Noah alone since his wife died of cancer 3 years earlier. The knowledge made her chest ache in a way she couldn't fully explain. "He makes really good spaghetti," Lily informed Emma one evening after a playdate at the Reynolds apartment. "And he knows all the dinosaur names. Even the hard ones." Emma tried to keep boundaries firm. She'd drop Lily off for playdates but always had an excuse ready when Jack invited her to stay for coffee. She'd wave politely in the hallway but kept conversations brief. Yet Jack's genuine warmth was eroding her defenses, one small kindness at a time. When her car wouldn't start one rainy morning, Jack appeared with an umbrella and offered them a ride to school. When Lily came down with the flu, he and Noah left homemade chicken soup outside their door with a get-well card Noah had made. Each gesture made the walls around her heart tremble a little more. Jack never pushed, never presumed. But his eyes held questions she wasn't ready to answer. It was during a violent spring storm that everything changed. The power went out across the entire building, and Lily, terrified of the dark, began to sob inconsolably. Emma was fumbling with candles when a knock came at their door. Jack stood there with Noah, a camping lantern in one hand and a board game in the other. Noah was scared, he said, though Emma suspected it was an excuse. I thought maybe we could keep each other company until the lights come back. The four of them spent the evening playing Candyland by lantern light, with Lily eventually falling asleep against Jack's shoulder. Emma watched him gently stroke her daughter's hair, the same way he did with Noah, and felt something crack open inside her. Why do you keep running away? Jack asked softly, after they'd tucked both children into Lily's bed. They sat in her small living room, the lantern casting shadows on the walls. I'm not running, Emma protested weakly. Every time I think we're getting somewhere, you pull back. His voice wasn't accusatory, just honest. I'd like to know why. Emma stared at her hands. When Tom left, he said he never wanted to be a father in the first place. That Lily and I were limiting his potential. The word still stung, even after 2 years. I promised myself I'd never put Lily in a position to be rejected again. Noah's mother died when he was 3, Jack said after a moment. For a long time, I thought that was it for me, that loving and losing someone that deeply was all I got. One chance at a family. He looked at her then, his gaze steady. I don't believe that anymore. The power came back on suddenly, the apartment flooding with light, but neither of them moved. I'm scared, Emma admitted. Not just for Lily. For me. Jack reached across the couch and took her hand. Being scared means you're about to do something brave. Spring turned to summer, and the four of them fell into a rhythm that felt increasingly like family. They took the children to the community pool on Saturdays. Jack taught Lily how to ride a bike without training wheels while Emma helped Noah overcome his fear of dogs at the local shelter. They planted a small garden in the apartment complex's community space, Noah and Jack handling the vegetables while Lily insisted on planting sunflowers, taller than Daddy Jack. The first time Lily called him that, Emma had waited for panic to set in. Instead, she felt a quiet certainty, like puzzle pieces sliding into place. But old fears die hard. When Jack suggested they take a weekend trip to his family's lake house, Emma hesitated. It felt like a threshold, one that, once crossed, would change everything. What if it doesn't work out? She asked her sister over coffee. What if we build this life together and then it falls apart? Lily would lose not just Jack but Noah too. Her sister studied her face. You can't protect her from every possible hurt, Em. And what about the hurt of missing out on something wonderful because you were too afraid to try? The trip to the lake house became a turning point. Watching Jack teach both children to fish off the dock, seeing how he anticipated her needs before she voiced them, feeling the way his family embraced Lily as if she'd always been part of their lives, Emma finally surrendered to what her heart had known for months. That night, with the children asleep in the loft bedroom, she and Jack sat on the dock under a blanket of stars. I think I've been keeping you at arm's length because this feels too good to be true, she confessed. In my experience, when something seems perfect, there's usually a catch. Jack was quiet for a moment. I'm not perfect, Emma. I work too much sometimes. I'm terrible at remembering birthdays. I get grumpy when the Browns lose. He turned to face her. But I promise you this, I will show up, every day, for you and for Lily. You won't have to wonder if I'm all in, because I am. Completely. When he kissed her, Emma felt the last of her walls come tumbling down. Their return to everyday life brought new challenges. Noah struggled with jealousy when Jack gave Lily attention. Emma's ex-husband reappeared, suddenly interested in being part of Lily's life again. Jack's project downtown faced funding issues that meant longer hours away from home. They navigated each obstacle together, sometimes stumbling, sometimes arguing, but always finding their way back to each other. 6 months after that first awkward hallway encounter, Jack suggested they look for a house together, something with a yard for the children and enough space for their blended family. They spent weekends at open houses, the four of them evaluating each property with their own criteria. Lily wanted a tree suitable for a swing, Noah needed a quiet corner for reading, Jack dreamed of a proper workshop, and Emma just wanted enough room for everyone's books. They found it on a tree-lined street 3 miles from downtown, a craftsman bungalow with a wraparound porch and plenty of character. The backyard had not one but 2 perfect climbing trees, and a previous owner had built a charming reading nook under the stairs. Jack immediately envisioned transforming the detached garage into his workspace, while Emma fell in love with the built-in bookshelves in the living room. On the day they signed the papers, Lily twirled around the empty living room, her voice echoing in the unfurnished space. "Is this really our forever home?" Emma looked at Jack, who had Noah perched on his shoulders. "What do you think? Is this forever?" His smile reached his eyes, crinkling the corners in the way she'd come to love. "I was thinking something a bit more permanent, actually." He set Noah down and reached into his pocket. Noah and Lily exchanged knowing glances as Jack dropped to one knee. Emma's hands flew to her mouth as he opened a small velvet box. "Emma Parker, you and Lily walked into our lives when Noah and I needed you most. You taught me that family isn't just what you're born into, it's what you build together, day by day." His voice wavered slightly. "I want to keep building with you, for all the days to come. Will you marry me?" Through tears, Emma nodded, then found her voice. "Yes. Yes to all of it." Later that evening, as they sat on the porch of their new home watching Noah and Lily chase fireflies in the twilight, Emma remembered that moment in the hallway that had started everything. "Mama, can we keep him?" she murmured, leaning against Jack's shoulder. He squeezed her hand. "Turns out we kept each other." 1 year later, on a perfect autumn day, they married in the backyard of their home. Lily and Noah stood beside them, official witnesses to the family they had become. Emma's sister read a poem about second chances, and Jack's parents presented them with a quilt made from squares contributed by everyone who loved them. When it came time for vows, Jack looked not just at Emma but at Lily too. "I promise to be the man you both deserve, steady, present, and completely yours." Then to Noah, "And I promise our family will always have room for everyone who belongs in it." Emma's vows acknowledged the journey. "I was so afraid of being hurt again that I almost missed the miracle standing right in front of me. Thank you for your patience while I learned to be brave again." As the seasons changed and the years passed, their family faced all the usual challenges: school struggles, teenage mood swings, career changes, and health scares. Through it all, they held on to the lesson they had learned together, that love isn't something you find once and keep safe. It's something you choose every day, something you build with patience and courage, something that grows stronger with every challenge weathered together. On their 5th anniversary, they gathered for a family photo on the same porch where Jack had proposed. Noah, now a lanky teenager interested in photography, set up the camera timer and hurried to join them. Lily, her hair cut short like Emma's, stood tall beside her brother, for they were brother and sister now in every way that mattered. "Remember when you asked if we could keep Daddy?" Emma whispered to Lily as they posed. Lily grinned, looking so much like the little girl who had asked that fateful question years ago. "Best thing I ever did." As the camera flashed, capturing their smiling faces, Emma thought about all the times she almost let fear win. How close she had come to missing this family, this love, this life they had built together. Her heart swelled with gratitude for her daughter's innocent question in a hallway long ago, and for finding the courage to finally say yes. Sometimes the most beautiful journeys begin with the simplest questions. And sometimes, keeping someone turns out to be exactly what sets you free. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe for more content that celebrates love, family, and second chances. Remember that sometimes the greatest happiness comes when we're brave enough to open our doors to unexpected possibilities.